Hello, bonjour, Annie, hola. My name is Garrett Ryan. I'm with Artist Relations here at Fringe North this season. And I'm super happy to be back here on the Fringe North podcast. We are going to be doing a series of these, chatting with our Fringe North 2023 artists about their work this season, their work in the past, and just getting to know a little bit about them as an artist and as a person. Um, and we will be airing these until August 16th when Fringe North 2023 kicks off. And today I am so happy to be joined for the first time for the 2023 series, but not the first time in general. I'm here with Skye Smith. How you doing?
Hi everyone. Happy to be here. It's a beautiful
Fantastic.
day.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I for our audience who hasn't had a chance to interact with your work or maybe see your piece from last season or hear you talk a little bit about your piece this year, why don't you take a few minutes to just tell us a little bit about yourself as an artist and then tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to Fringe North this season?
Sure. So I got involved with the Fringe North family last season in 2022. So I had developed a show, a dance performance, as well as four vignettes with my students at Northern Arts Academy that I was working at the time for the Story Steeped in Stone series with Wendy Hamilton. So this was her brainchild over the pandemic for any artist that felt like they had missed opportunities for work during the pandemic. So she had this really cool idea to broadcast live these shows and have a very limited small audience and what that may have looked like depending on lockdown. So we had these 25 people, very intimate, for the live performance that was recorded and then broadcast on YouTube. And because it was so successful and so popular, people were asking to keep the broadcast up, so you can still find my performance on YouTube with the Story Steeped in Stone series. So it's Story Steeped in Stone, and it was called, so you can search me, Skye Smith, and it was Lanona Equi and the Steelworker's Wife. So that was the show that I wrote and created for that. I sat down with Tova Arbus, who's the president of Fringe North, and she was the MC for that show. And I said, Tova, I have to perform this again. I don't feel ready to put it to bed yet. And she said, let me figure out how to get you involved in Fringe. And I'm so thankful that she did. And I performed it at the museum last year as the last performance of Fringe. It just kind of worked out that way. And I was so happy to close the festival. And I felt it was a sold out audience, again, of 25 people. And it felt really special that I was able to perform that again a little bit differently because, the collaboration with Story Steeped in Stone was a little bit different, but it was the first time I really felt, onus of my work, and it was all me, right? It was all my decisions, how I wanted it. It felt really, really cool with the Story Steeped in Stone as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first venture as a solo artist, and how I got involved with Fringe. So then I decided this year, when the call to artists were up in January, that I had to do something. I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. I knew I wanted it to be dance again, like Leno Negri. I knew I wanted to perform. So I had different ideas and different kind of themes that I wanted to do as solo dances and one as a trio. So I wanted to work with Amelia Stewart again, local choreographer from Elite Dance Force. So I got her involved from the start and wanted to do three different dances. And talking to Tova, again, she's such a wonderful soundboard. When I told her my idea of these three pieces, and I had it mapped out, she said, you need to create a character. So then, with some research and some thought and some downtime, I decided I wanted the character to be a daughter of Lilith, which is a Lilin. So I did some research, I did some reading on that character, about a really cool book about her and a retelling of her story. And when I found these so-called Lilin, that sometimes they are real people in I think it's Spanish folklore. They're called Pombagira. So they're daughters of Lilin, and I decided, well, I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna create this character named Calla. So Calla Lilin is a daughter of Lilith here to bring modern day, like a feminism and kind of the struggles that women go through in today's society. So that's Calla. That's my show for 2023.
Amazing. So is this you mentioned there's three pieces. This is a character that goes throughout the three pieces?
Yep. And looking at it, it's so hard when I'm developing the story. I'm not really writing it. It's hard. One day I sat down at a Starbucks to write,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm gonna write this play. And as I'm typing, I realized that I threw it all away. It was good. It was a good idea to write it down because I knew what I wanted to say. But when I'm working, as a dance performer, all of this backstory needs to be translated through the movement, right? So it really does. It helps me, but it's not. It's been coming together fluidly like that, where I'll write something down. I'll think I'll want to use it as like a spoken word or something, and then I always go back to, well, no, this is a dance, and I want to portray it as such, right? So, and my inspirations lately have been from performance art. So I've been looking at different performance artists. Lady Gaga, which I had just realized is a real performance artist. She takes inspiration from so much art.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been the character development has been really, really fun for me. She's becoming a part of me. A big part of the character was that I wanted to show, like, what does she look like, right? She's me, so she looks like me, but I needed to change a little bit about my appearance appearance. So I shaved my head. So that was the first step in becoming this character because, number one, my mom is going through cancer treatment and she just lost her hair. So that was my first motivation. I wanted to go through that with her.
Right.
The second piece was, what does hair mean in regards to being a woman?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for your personality? A lot of people, Lady Gaga has a song called Hair that is basically how she can transform into a different person depending on the wig she wears or depending on how she changes her hair. I can relate to that so much in my life. I've had so many different hairstyles. One friend of mine said to me, "Skye, I'm surprised you haven't done this yet. Like, you haven't shaved your head yet."
Yeah.
So I've had so many different looks that this is not surprising for people that know me that I did this drastic change. It's wonderful.
So this is the first time you've had it shaved?
Yep, I've had really short styles with some
Right.
bangs, but still feminine.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time that I went all the way.
Cool.
Number two. Yeah,
Awesome.
a little bit longer right now because I need a cut, but yeah, I went down to a number two. I went to see my hairdresser, who's been like a therapist for me. I've been seeing her since I was 15 years old. And when I asked her to do it, and I said, "Can I film it?" She was like, "What?" And it was like, I don't know, it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night or something. So she called me and she said, "Are you sure?" I said yes. And when I explained it to her and I explained to her what I was doing and what I was doing with the show, and she had also seen my mom and shaved her head when her hair was falling out. So she said, "Okay, I understand, and I get you," because I've put her through the ringer with different hairstyles I wanted. I had the Katy Perry bangs.
Oh yeah.
They were really, really sharp cut. I've had different colors, different. I had a purple extension at one point. It's really fun. I could play with different things. Yes, I know, baby.
We got a special
Everybody likes to join us. Yeah. You go see Dad, okay? Yeah, you go see Dad. Oh, no, Mama will be done soon, okay, baby? Take him out.
I saw the video you had sent of shaving your head. How did it feel in that moment? Did it feel like you mentioned you've had a bunch of different styles? Did this feel different?
hmm It felt really, really good. I thought it would be more emotional. I thought I would be like scared. I thought I would
Mm,
hate it, or parts of me would say, "What is happening?" But it felt so free. I felt as though hair takes up. I don't know if you've heard the expression, "Hair takes up your crazy."
mhm.
People will say different hairstyles. So when it was gone, I just felt like, oh, I'm just shedding so much. I don't know. I'm shedding so much crazy. It felt free. And now, when I get dressed, when I decide what to wear, and you have a new haircut, you're deciding who you're going to be and how it's going to look.
Mhm.
And I've definitely gone through it. Some days I feel like I look more masculine, and how do I adapt my style from before. And yeah, so it's been challenging too. And there's been rough days where I feel like did I make a mistake or what is this? But I know what it stands for, and anybody who's done
Mm.
it, who shaved their head or has, gone through chemo or, didn't have the choice, just had to live with it. I know that they'll understand what I'm doing when they see this as a part of the character. So that was the first real step into really feeling like I'm stepping into Calla.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know just uh, the idea getting a good haircut is it feels so nice. So I imagine just getting the weight off in general was great. I had during the pandemic, I grew my hair out real long, and
Nice.
it's like the once you got it all cut short again, it was like, oh, this is I feel like I can move again. So I
Totally.
bet that was a nice feeling. Yeah. Um,
So good. Yeah.
yeah. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
Uh, how how has that had any bearing on the work? Just being in that situation with her, have you found that has kind of filtered into the artistic process?
Yeah, and even my show from last year. So Lenone Cree was a tribute to my Nona, who's
Yeah.
my mom's mom, right? And she had passed away when I was applying to be a part of the Story Steeped in Stone series. So I knew I wanted to honor her, and I didn't know how. And then, Lenone Cree kind of developed. Once it clicked, it was easy, right? And so for this, once it clicked that I knew I wanted to be a daughter of Lilith, my mom actually introduced me to Lilith when I was in university. So 15 years ago, I wrote a piece in my creative writing class, Writer's Craft at university, that retold the story of the creation story and how
Hmm.
Lilith was there. So I wrote it in. So we had this really wonderful exercise to rewrite a fairy tale, however we liked. So I chose the Bible verse, the
Hmm.
creation story, and I rewrote it from her perspective. Not really having done too much research. I've definitely done more research on her now, on Lilith, but that was really from my mom being a soundboard and talking. Oh, I don't know what I want to do for this assignment. And my mom is really creative, more than she knows. But she taught drama and writing in
Oh, wow.
high school and Mount forever. So whenever I have an idea, I go to her. And so through this process of creating this character, Calla, and when I wanted to be my Nona and I created that character, I was always going to my mom and saying, "Oh, should I do this? How
Hmm.
should this look?" And I'm bouncing ideas off of her. So I'm still doing that, and I do find it hard, definitely, because there's some days she's going through chemo that she's really tired, and I know she wants to be there for me and have the energy to talk about the character. Um, and I'm a very excitable, passionate person. So sometimes I'm coming at her with a lot of energy
You're
and a lot
right.
of excitement. I know she's like, "Oh, Skye," So, but then later, I know that it registers because a few days later she'll send me something, an article she saw, or she'll send me. I still have to listen to a really cool spoken word piece about body hair that I haven't listened to yet. That
Oh,
was a CD that she had used 20 years ago in her class. And she said, "I think this is going to relate." So that's on my to-do list to do. So this this performance is dedicated to my mom, who's going through this now. And also, Lenore we talked about the matriarch of a family.
Hmm.
Calla talks about the struggles of a woman, right? And isolation and all different things that she may go through this, and creating the character. I don't want to speak for all women, um, but the more women I tell about the show,
Hmm.
really relate to it. One woman said to me, "Oh, Skye, you're talking my life." Like, she just was like, "What? This is exactly." And she's involved. She's actually involved in it. So I did. She's a florist and an artist in Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
Her name's Riley Greco, and she got me beautiful black calla lilies for a photo shoot I did, because I wanted them as a part of the photo shoot. Because Calla, Lily, Lilith, Lilin, it all kind of connected for me. So
Hmm.
I really wanted black calla lilies, because when I looked them up, they represent mystery. So
Cool.
yeah. So that's a
Cool.
part. They're also a part of the show too. Flowers are very feminine, and yeah. So that's yeah.
Yeah. Were
My
those
mom is a part of it. Yeah. Mhm.
amazing? That's so
Mhm.
great to hear that she's such a source of inspiration. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what were the flowers in the photo shoot that you had sent me some the promotional thing? Okay, cool. So the
Yeah.
Fringe North audience is going to get to see some little teasers of that, which is super exciting. Yeah, that's so cool.
Mhm.
It sounds like you've had a lot of great collaborators then on this project. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what it's taken to get this up on its feet, or how it's getting up on its feet? Like who's all
Mhm.
involved in making this happen?
Lots of wonderful artists. Lots of
Amazing.
wonderful people that I've worked with. I think I've worked with everyone in some capacity before, except for Riley Greco, who's the florist, who got
Cool.
those flowers. I'm not sure how to quite incorporate them into the show yet. I know I want to have them around,
Hmm.
as a part of it, so that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm sure she'll have really cool ideas. So yeah, assembling the
Yeah.
dream team. Think of Michael Scott when I talk about it, and I am going to post soon on my Instagram account. I'll go with Skye each of the collaborators that I've been working with. The
Amazing.
first person I had reached out to was Amelia Stewart, the choreographer
Hmm.
from Elite Dance Force. She's really, really creative, and she's instantly, when I tell her what I want to do and I explain to it, she'll move through it in her body. And when I told her about Lilith and all of there's different animals that are associated with her, and she immediately we were doing movements that are really like bird-like, because she's associated with an owl.
Hmm.
She's really, really smart that way, and it just moves through her body. She's really, really cool. So that was the first person I approached. And then when we got to talking about it, we decided one of the pieces would be a trio. And we happened to be at the same bar as another dancer who we were like, he has to be in it. So Lucas Beaver, I asked that evening to be a part of it. He said, yep, I'm in. And we met a couple weeks ago to finalize. And we're going to be choreographing that in July, the trio. The second person I wanted was Lauren Kinney, another wonderful choreographer, dancer, director, really close friend. So she's going to be part of that trio. So their characters are, it's kind of like an angel and a devil on Calla's shoulders, in that they represent the good and the bad of Calla and of everyone. Everybody has two sides.
Hmm.
So those are the second people that I reached out to. Somewhere in there, I also asked Tracy McKitty, who's stage managed for me a couple times. She stage managed Lenore Quee and the Steelworker's Wife at Fringe. She wasn't available for the Stories Steeped in Stone performance, but I knew I wanted to work with her because she's really um, wonderful at understanding what I need and just doing it. I
I
don't
th
really have to ask to say,
I think I
yeah,
met her, eh? She was around.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she was great. Yeah, you had such a great
So good.
team. Like so professional and on the ball. For Fringe last year, it was awesome.
Yeah. And what I love about Tracy too is that she's got that, organizational mind, but she's also so passionate about what I do. And I know she's with me because she understands. She really loved the Lenone Queen. She, from her heart, was connected to it. And when I told her what I was doing now, she said, "Oh yeah," and she understood too. So she has an artsy brain too. Um, yeah. So then I decided that part of it is that I wanted to promote the show, but I also wanted to do a boudoir photo shoot. So then I reached out to Alyssa Eddy Photography, um, and we did a photo shoot in mid-May that I've got to use for promo, but they're also going to be a part of the show. So the boudoir photo shoot was mostly part of the first dance that I'm doing about body image, and I really needed to come to terms with, what expectations I had of myself for my 35 years in existence about being a woman and what it means. So the boudoir photo shoot, I did everything I could to really not hide. So it's already a very vulnerable situation. You're there with little to no clothing, and I was in front of beautiful, wonderful, accepting women who heard me, and Alyssa has been so excited about this show and giving me inspiration. She sends me songs that she thinks I'll, go get into character. And she's just, yeah. So that was the second person, and meeting her and the makeup artist, Beauty by Brittany is um, her makeup artistry business, and she did the makeup, and she has so many wonderful things. So the photo shoot the photo that I have that I want on the poster, that's kind of the headshot of it, is me like this, and I'm kind of, going, yes, and I'm saying that because Brittany had said something so poignant about the patriarch and what it has done to women's expectations on themselves. So she had said something so poignant that
Cool.
I said yes, and that was the photo that got. So yeah, she was a wonderful part of the team.
Awesome.
Yes, and Riley Greco. I've also been in contact with um, someone for some promotion. So Josh Richards does graphic design, so he's designing the poster and the title for it and what that's going to look like, Calla. And he's going to help me with my sponsorship too. So Josh Richards, he goes by Dreamwing Studios. That's his graphic design and promotions business. Oh, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. If I think of somebody else who's been on team, my husband, of course. So my husband, Rod Smith, he's a musician. I've been bouncing ideas off of him since the very beginning, and hopefully he's going to be playing. He's going to be opening the show.
Cool.
Another musician, Josh Norling, wonderful saxophone player. We were sitting out one night, and I was telling him about the show and what instruments I imagined for the dance pieces. He got so inspired. The next day he said, "I'm not going to be able to sleep." That's what he said to me. And then he wrote a song called Lilith. Just such a cool piece. It's all instrumental. He used a computer program to do it. He's a very talented songwriter, composer, saxophone player. He's a teacher, and one of our dear friends. So he wrote this song called Lilith that we're using for the trio, and I'm
Cool.
so thankful for that. So yeah, I think that's the team. But like I said, if I think of somebody else, I'll jump
Yeah, sounds good. That's so
in.
cool. I love how rooted in the community it is. Like it's so collaborative, which is just amazing. Like that's exactly what the spirit of Fringe North is. Like just like so grassroots, community focused. I love it. That's so cool. I'm so excited to see it.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a part of my goals too, right? Is that I really wanted to use anybody I could in my trusted circle, it's kind of, I don't
Mm.
know if you feel this as an artist too, right? Like you have to work with people that you already know you can trust. This
Yeah.
is a huge part of creating. And I thought, who can I tell my story to from the ground, right? Who's going to understand it? Um, who's going to respect it? Who's going to be supportive of me too, right? Like, I didn't, yeah, so there's very selective. I'll say that too.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. I love that. And yes, as an artist, I absolutely agree. I feel the exact same way.
Mm.
Um, I wanted to circle back a little bit. Um, you talked a little bit about the photo shoot you did. How is that featuring within what people will see on stage? Are you showing the photos? Are you? And I also want to tie that into a little bit without giving too much away. I'd love to hear you chat a little bit about the staging elements because I know you're doing some really cool things. I want to leave a little bit, or I mean, at your discretion, you can leave a little bit to on the day people can see what you're doing, but to give a little bit of a teaser because I think it's you're playing with some super cool staging elements.
Thanks. Yeah, I just decided what I was doing too, so I wasn't sure how I wanted to reveal the photos.
Hmm.
So I can say that much is that they will be revealed. Some of them I'll be using for promotion, but most of them will be revealed at the show.
Right.
Um, Another aspect and element of the show is that there are lots of mirrors.
Hmm.
Taboo to do on stage, so like immediately I was like, that's taboo. I want to do that because that's just the way that I work. I want to
Yeah.
find a rule and I want to break it. So that, but it's also a big part of it in that looking in the mirror is a part of our everyday life. It says so much about what we say about ourselves, how we love ourselves, and that's a huge part of the body image part of this, and a huge part of being a woman, and a man, and a human, right? Like we all have our um, expectations we put on ourselves or what we want to look like. I've dealt with some body dysmorphia, so looking in the mirror is hard, and when you see pictures of yourself that don't reflect what you saw in the mirror, so that's what I want to show through the mirrors and the photos, and kind of my goal is that the audience will kind of this whole experience is really my journey to self love. So I
Hmm.
really want people to take that and then say to themselves, how can I love myself more when I look in the mirror? How can I, you know, recognize that the negative self talk that we all have and that we all experience. And during the pandemic, I became more aware of that,
Yeah.
aware of how I was speaking to myself, and because we were isolated, right?
Hmm.
I couldn't see my normal, keep myself busy or have those normal social interactions. So it was really, how do I talk to myself? I need to work on this. So that's how I want to reveal some of the photos, and I also want the performance art piece of it is I want people to see me looking at myself, but also see me looking at the photos of myself too.
Hmm.
Yes, buddy. Um, um, So my son wants to say hi. Mama. Yes. Okay. I'll be right there. Okay. You go see Dad and go watch your show.
um,
the the beauty of the show too is that I'm one of the pieces is my struggles with postpartum. So
I
like I have a family. I have two boys, and um, being a mom has changed me for the
yeah,
better. So yeah.
I love that. I as someone I don't have kids yet, but that's the plan, and I love seeing how well you balance both things. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
No,
It
it's
doesn't feel like that. That's for sure.
no, it's true. I mean, just here, like you're in both worlds, and it's but you're like fully there for both, which is just makes me feel really hopeful about um, wanting to be a parent who still can work actively in the arts. Because I know at one time that was people said that was just not a thing that was possible. So it's seeing you, and I know a lot of other artists that I work with that also are just like superheroes with how they balance both things, and I just love to see it, and it inspires so much hope.
Oh, thank you, Garrett. Yeah, I hope it's a struggle every day. How I'm going to
Sure.
balance it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to just to jump back. Um, First of all, for the mirrors and the like how that's kind of breaking with the norms of theater. I love I say, you know, take all the rules of theater and writing and throw it out. I love bending and breaking those rules. So that's I'm super excited for that. Um, I how so are do you know how the mirrors are positioned? Is the audience also going to be able to be reflected in them, or are they going to be ideally positioned in a way where the audience is just seeing you and like the on stage reflected onto itself, or is it like are we in the audience going to be within that as well? Like how involved is the audience in that reflection? And yeah.
So the biggest challenge I have with the mirrors is that I need to position them in such a way that they don't reflect off the lighting. So a lot of the decisions about that is going to happen in the tech rehearsal. I mostly see them the way they are in a dance studio. So as part of the show is that I am at a ballet bar at one point, and there are mirrors everywhere. There are mirrors usually on either side or two sides um, of a dance studio, so that you can look at yourself in the mirror, but you can also see from different angles. So they're usually on two sides of a room when you're thinking about that. So just so that you put two mirrors together and then it's infinity, right? Like that's I won't be doing that.
Yeah.
I don't because that's not really what I'm trying to say. But the a really wonderful poignant thing that Lauren Kinney said at one of our meetings is that being a dance teacher, and I was a dance teacher for a long time, and you come out of your dance training, usually from high school, and then if you become a teacher and you teach, you're still looking in the mirror every single day when
Yeah.
you're dancing. So you're looking at yourself, you're looking at your students, it's hard. It's really hard to see yourself too, and to constructively say, what can I work on, as opposed to the other aspect of my brain is saying, well, I don't look good doing that. Something about my body, I
Mhm.
don't like that. How can I change that? Ooh, I need to do more sit-ups. Ooh, I need to do better stretches. That's not, so, and it can be over consuming
Yeah.
too. So that's what I want to show. And so that will be a lot of me looking at the mirror at myself. So the audience will be able to see themselves. Mirrors can be
Well,
distracting. So
yeah.
I definitely want the audience to get that too, of like they're sitting in a seat in the audience. Can they see themselves? Can they see somebody else? Right? Like
Yeah.
how is that all going to play? Um,
It's just
even on a yeah.
it's
Go
so
ahead. Yeah.
exciting. I just I love it. Well, it reminds me of I've seen pieces of theater where the audience is invited to sit on stage as sort of part of the show, which
Wow.
is really cool, and it kind of gives me the same like idea of that, like seeing ourselves as an audience reflected, and like it feels like we're really a part of it, and like a part of the scenery of the piece. And I love like the idea of being able to see people's reactions, and because you don't really get I'm not watching a play and like turning around and seeing how other people are reacting, so to see like it's just it sounds so immersive. I'm so excited. That's so cool.
Yeah. Jared, I just had a dream last night. You just reminded me that I had a dream last night that I was at the end of the show. I had something on a backdrop that was playing, but people were people came up on the stage and they were circling as I was finishing.
Huh.
And I remember looking at my husband, Rod, he was on stage with me, and saying, "What are they doing? Why are they here?" You
Hmm.
know? And I thought, who did this? And it was very intimate because they were just touring the stage and seeing what
Interesting.
was happening. And just as you're saying this, it's definitely it's interactive in a strange way.
Yeah.
They're interacting with themselves, right? They're coming into my world, which is also so vulnerable, which I think is what the feeling I had in my dream of like, why are
Yeah.
they up with me? Where's that wall? Wait a sec,
Hmm.
right? I broke it. Damn. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to think about that in development of like, hmm. Also, as an audience member, I know people want to be entertained too, so it's that weird like some people wouldn't want to go to a show that they knew that there was audience participation or
Hmm.
something was going to happen like that. So I know when I go see a show, I definitely want to sit back and relax,
Yeah.
right? Like you want to sit, you want to watch what's happening. So here's yeah, I guess I'll have to think about that. I'm not sure I want people physically on the stage. I guess I'll have to see how it fits.
Yeah, but it's like a spiritual audience participation with like their reflections are there present. I think that's so interesting. Yeah.
Hmm. There's a really cool art piece that I just saw on a performance art piece where people could move the mirrors. It was an interactive art piece, and it
Mm.
was all mirrors, and they were angled in a way, and viewers were invited to switch to turn the mirrors, right? So it was
Interesting.
all of these reflections. So it was up in a gallery, and people could go and switch the angle to however they wanted, right? I
Mm.
thought that was really, really cool too, and how they were all angled. And like I said, my biggest struggle and what I have to keep thinking about, and I can't wait to work with Rob Roth about it because I know he's
Yeah.
excited. I know he's like, oh God, you
Awesome.
gotta do this to me, but he's excited to
Yeah,
to
I'm
work with
sure you
that
would like
community.
the challenges that come with that. Yeah, it's
Exactly. It's not every
exciting.
day that you have to break these rules, right? Like
Yeah,
most of the time you say, okay, I just want this, specific lighting.
yeah, keeping him on his toes a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if it's all angled at one point, it'll be easy. But now
Yeah,
that I'm talking about these different angles and how people can see it, I might have to play with that too, right? Ooh, yeah,
mm,
it's gonna be fun.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of technical work necessarily, but as a director, I love getting things that seem impossible to do on stage. That's the funnest thing. Like it's like a puzzle trying to figure it out. It's great. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. You can
So
rip your hair out. You can rip your hair out. I know I'm gonna have moments of that too.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna be really
exactly.
exciting. But
Yeah,
and Rob will too.
yeah. You want the challenge. That's yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
exactly.
And I can't thank so Tova Arbors. I can't thank her enough. Every time I bounce ideas off of her with the show. When I first had the idea with the mirrors, I was like, Tova, I don't know. I want mirrors in the show, but I know it's not appropriate. I know it's taboo, whatever. And she said, Skye, we can fix it. It's just, and she was the one that said to me, you just have to, it's just the lighting. That's the reason why it's taboo, because I didn't
Yeah.
know. So you hear of these theater legends, these
Mhm.
myths, and she was the one to tell me, no, it's because of the lighting. It's
Mhm.
because the light reflects and hits somebody in a way that will blind them,
Yeah.
then that's not okay. And that it was like, oh well, we've got really wonderful lighting technicians.
Hmm.
Let's see what we can do. So she was the one that made me. She's always doing that. She's always so good for me when I'm talking. Is that she says, don't limit yourself, and there's not a lot of people. I don't. You've experienced too. If you're bouncing ideas off somebody and they just say, no, can't do that. No, we can't do that. Or, no, we can't do that, and it can be so draining and so
Oh yeah.
exhausting. Yeah, she's the opposite of that. She's life giving,
Yeah. Yeah.
to shows and ideas, and yeah.
Yeah. She really is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's much more exciting to work with a collaborator. I mean, you have to. It is important as well to have collaborators who temper your expectations. I'm a creative person who likes to go big with things and have people calm me down a little bit, but it's better to I think work with someone like Atova who is like listens to these big exciting rule breaking ideas and says like, okay, let's see at least, like let's try to figure out how to do this rather than just like, no, shut it down. um yeah, she is fantastic for that for sure. Like it's always like there's never just a straight no. It's like, okay, let's see how we can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that brings me back to like, assembling my team is that I wanted people with me that
Mhm.
would also be like that, right? Know me well enough to know that I have grand ideas and like
Yeah.
how can we make this work, right? And that it just comes with that trust.
Hmm.
Always about trust. And so I really do trust her. And getting
Yeah.
to know her and understanding what she's all about, she's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So just noticing the time, and your children seem to have some things they want to discuss with you. So um,
You
we
can see him just like coming over here every once in a while. Like
no, I love
he's
it.
very
That's
interested.
great. We got some little cameo appear. I think both have appeared now, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
There's two, right? There's just two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was like, we need to. If there's another one, we need to bring him in. Yeah. um, Awesome. So I want to finish off, and I did this. I think I did this to you last year as well, but we'll finish off by saying, aside from everything we've just talked about, what is one thing that you can say to a prospective audience member of why they should come see your piece?
Hmm. I've been struggling with the idea lately that it's not entertainment. So if you're not in a place to feel moved, don't come. If you want to, watch something light, don't come. But if you're if yeah, if you want to see something cool, if you want to support me, if you have saw Leno Queen, you liked my work, I would say come. And it's funny. When I talked to some fellow artists about my idea for the show, and he was the only man in the room, and he said to me, "Oh no, I feel like I need to leave right now." As we were talking about the show, and I said, "No, no, no, no. You really need you. This is why you need to come see it. Is because you think that you're not part of the conversation." And my process of realizing this show and how feminist it is that really men and women need to be empowered in different ways, and everyone in between, right? And empowering someone doesn't erase somebody else.
Hmm.
So that's kind of and kind of my thoughts. And it's Pride Month, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the reason is that empowering somebody isn't a threat to your being. So
Hmm.
this show is aimed to empower both men and women and everyone in between.
I'm so excited. I will be there in the audience, and I I guess I can share this by the time this will go out that you will be our closing show for the festival once again. I don't even I think you probably did that,
Yay!
right? I think Toba's probably
Yes,
told you that. Okay, cool.
yeah, she mentioned it.
So
Yeah.
once again, I mean, it was so great having you close out last year. So we'll have the same, hopefully, nice packed room full of people, and have end with such a meaningful piece, which is fantastic.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so honored. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, of
yeah.
course. Yeah, we're so happy to have you back. And I hope you continue to come back in the years to come. We're so grateful to be able to host your incredible work. Um, so with that being said, let's wrap up. Unfortunately, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. We'll probably have you on another roundtable at some point throughout the summer.
That's good.
People can tune into those and hopefully hear more about your work and some updates and things like that. Um, I I think you mentioned earlier in the podcast, but just where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, Instagram at Algoma Sky. That's my main platform that I like to post at. I like to post pictures and some videos. I do have Facebook too. It's my personal profile, Skye Smith. Yeah, those
Amazing.
are the two places. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah, and stay tuned to the Fringe North social media as well because we have some, as I mentioned, some cool promotional stuff that Skye has sent our way. So if you want to see a little bit of the work she was talking about with we've got, like I said, we have the clip of you shaving your head. We've got some teaser footage from the photo shoot you did. So that will be on our social media throughout the summer. So check that out and be sure to come to the festival August 16th to the 20th to see Skye's work and to see over 30 other amazing artists.
Wow.
We're so grateful this year. It's going to be such a full festival. I'm so excited. And thank you everyone for just tuning in. We're so grateful to have you here listening. And Please check out the description below to see links to our social media channels and also more information about the festival. And if you want to support all of the work that our team is doing here and support the work that we are doing to subsequently support all the other artists in the festival, please consider tipping the Fringe, which you can find the link for that in the description below as well. We will be back with some more podcasts with some other amazing artists that are participating in the festival this year. Thank you, everyone, once again. So grateful for everyone tuning in. Merci, miigwech. Gracias. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, or night, or whenever you're tuning in. Bye.
Bye, everyone.